If you want to feel more calm, confident, and connected in your life, the Love Your Real Life membership is for you. Members love the simple daily challenges that help create small, consistent actions that lead to the change that they want. And then the live sessions that are throughout the month that leave them feeling grounded, relaxed, and supported. There's a link in the show notes to join. I would love to see you inside of this membership. Welcome to the Love Your Real Life podcast. I'm Faith Lauterbach, and this is a space to help you heal, rebuild, and create a life you truly love, even if it looks different than you imagined. Each week, I'll be sharing tools, encouragement, and real conversations about what it means to move forward after betrayal, heartbreak, or simply life not going as planned. I am honored to walk alongside you and help you love your real life. Thank you for tuning in today. If you are here listening, then that tells me that you are in a spot that you are ready. Ready for things to be different. Ready to take the reins back on your life. That in itself is brave. And I'm not going to lie, it's also hard. Because doing that requires some deep inner work. So welcome to Season 2, Episode 9, Rewriting Your Story, Moving from Blaming to Empowered. Now, I'm not a therapist, and I can only speak from my own experience. So like always, that is what I'm doing here. My hope is that what I have to say helps you in some way. But I strongly believe that working with someone one-on-one is really important in this process. Maybe that's a therapist, a coach like me, or both. I have ways for us to connect in the show notes to chat more. I want to start with saying that this episode isn't about minimizing anyone's pain. But when you're ready to move from this stage of blaming what happened to being in charge of your life, it is empowering. I loved the moment this happened for me. When I learned that even though I experienced infidelity, I still got to decide how I wanted to show up in my life. And then rewriting my story. We're going to talk about this in more detail in this episode, but what I noticed is as I moved away from the shock of it, I started feeling a lot of resentment and helplessness, and that made me feel stuck. I moved into this space where I was the victim of my story, and I knew that I did not want that to be my identity. I had found myself thinking things like, this ruined me. I'll never be the same. I can't trust anyone. I should have known. I must not be worthy of real love. What I learned was that these thoughts were there to protect me initially, but they were not meant to stay forever. They were necessary in the initial stages of shock and healing. They were a bandage to cover an open wound. But when a wound starts healing, it doesn't need the bandage anymore. And if that bandage stays on for too long, it can actually cause more damage. Okay, this was a realization that I needed to have in order to rewrite my story and take my power back. Having someone to blame can feel kind of, for lack of a better word, good. Like, there's nothing wrong with me. Obviously, look at this horrible thing that someone else did. There is clearly a good and a bad here. And I know that it could have been easy to stay in that mindset, to not be curious, to not look deeper, to not learn about myself, to not work on what I needed to work on. Blaming gives temporary comfort. It says, Well, this happened to me, so I don't have to risk it again. This wasn't my fault, so I don't have to do any work on myself. And I want to be clear, there's no shame in this stage. This is a normal part of the process. It's often the first place we land, and there's a reason. Our nervous system is trying to protect us. Our heart is trying to feel safe again. And to be able to say it's someone's fault, it can do that a little bit. It can help protect us, it can help us feel safe. And in those first months after I found out, I was desperate to feel safe again. But if I would have stayed there too long, I would have lost myself. My story would have been defined by someone else. Because blame can become a cage, and then it can harden around us, building walls that become very hard to break through. When we blame, we give someone else the power. When all of our energy goes towards blaming someone else, then we don't have space to ask some really important questions. Like, what do I need now? What is this revealing in me? What boundaries do I need to strengthen? What patterns inside myself do I want to heal? What do I want my next chapter to look like? Blame kept me facing backward. Healing asked me to turn forward. Now, I'm not here to tell anyone when this is right for them, but some signs that you might have that are showing that you're ready for it could be this shift in your mind where you're saying, why did this happen? To what do I need now? What kind of life do I want to create? You might feel yourself wanting your energy back, your joy back, hope for your future. And the great news is you don't have to wait for anyone else to do this. You get to rewrite your story whenever you want. So let's talk about some of the practical parts of this. Because rewriting your story is not some vague concept. It's something you can do on purpose, step by step. So here's a few ways to begin. We got 5 steps here. So the first one, step 1, is name the story you've been telling yourself. So this is kind of like the assessment. We want to find out, what am I telling myself about what happened? What do I believe about myself now because of this? So your story might sound like, I'm not safe with love. I can't trust myself. I can't trust anyone else. People always leave. I am unlovable. I am not enough. Bringing awareness to this is so important and allowing yourself to feel it. And then take some deep breaths. Step 2, we're going to separate the facts from meaning. So the facts are what happened, the things that cannot be disputed. Meaning is what your brain decided it must say about you. So it could look like a fact: my husband cheated on me, meaning that you may have attached, I wasn't worth staying faithful to. But then recognizing that these are not the same thing. A truer meaning might be, they made a choice that reflects their capacity, not my value. This step is about pulling your worth away from someone else's actions. And then step 3, validate your pain without making it your future. So say something like, I'm allowed to grieve and still believe that life can be good again. Or maybe it's, this pain that I'm feeling won't be what defines me forever. So it's acknowledging hurt and healing at the same time. And in step 4, choose the story that you want to live into. So some of the questions you could ask yourself, these would be great journal prompts, would be, what kind of person do I want to become or am becoming? What lessons are here for me? Instead of why did this happen to me, why did this happen for me? What kind of life do I want to create now? This would make a really cool vision board, putting images, words, all up that have to do with the story that you want to live. And then step 5, back your story with small actions. Your brain believes what you practice. Those actions impact what you believe. So choose actions that align with how you want to live. Maybe that's starting a hobby, saying no without over-explaining, do something just for you, take one step towards something that's important to you. Let yourself truly enjoy something. These are just a few actions that can help your nervous system build back up and move towards that life that you want. There's probably a million more. So just allow yourself to write down all of the actions that could help you live that new story. Okay, as we close, I want you to remember, if you have experienced infidelity, it is impossible for it not to shape you in some way, but it doesn't define you. There are so many lessons that I got to take from my experience. And for me, this might sound kind of out there, but it was one of the best things that ever happened to me. The reason is it was a catalyst for the most growth I've ever experienced. It gave me the ability to learn who I really am, and that is something that I'm really honestly grateful for. I'm proud of you for being here, for listening, for healing, for choosing your real life and learning to love it, even when it doesn't go as planned. If you're looking for support, I would love to chat more. See the show notes on how to connect. Until next time, be well. Thank you so much for listening to the Love Your Real Life podcast. I hope that today's episode was just what you needed. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. And if you're looking for more support, check out the show notes for how to connect. Remember, no matter what your story holds, you are worthy of living a life that you love. Talk to you soon.